Hey everybody, this is Kendra with Kendra Pennington Holistic Self-Healing. I'm just making this video before I go to Josh's book signing. So it's gonna be fun because, it's like, who gets to go to a book signing often? Like here. I mean, if you live somewhere where there's a lot of bookstores, then probably, or really cool libraries. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about this because I thought it was really important to mention that a whole body wellness and balance to me incorporates spirituality. So even if you are atheist or you are super religious, we all have some sense of knowing there is a connection within the outside world that is within us that is a higher knowledge, okay? No matter where you're at on that spectrum, believing in a higher knowledge is something that we need. So how do we do that if we were raised really religious? So let's go into Kendra's story. Okay, I grew up here in West Texas, as did my mom. So meaning that you are religious here, or you had to be, because you wouldn't get invited to anyone's birthday if you weren't religious, okay? Just kidding, but sort of seriously, like for real, you just you're an outcast. You aren't accepted by society if you're not falling in with the guidelines of society, right? Because that's just the way things are. Well, so my mom being in a religious background, we were raised religious, and I like to say Christian, but it was just like this kind of very loose leaf kind of thing. We never really stuck to just one church because I think my mom was waking up during this process also. So she would read us the Bible every night, and she would read us Psalms, which I really like Psalms. And I remember being young. I can't remember. I was in elementary. I don't know how old I was, but I remember going to one of the churches here, and I went to one of the little Bible study classes because I was young. And I remember just not resonating at all with religion itself, okay? Religion itself I did not resonate with because, it just wasn't, I had all these questions that just couldn't be answered, and I was like, what is this? And I remember that I would go to church with my mom and stuff like that. She totally said I didn't have to go. Like, I told her I didn't like it, and she was like, okay. So that was really cool of her. But, I went because we'd get to go to lunch afterwards, and I get to see my friends, if we went to a certain other church, And so you had to have it to be accepted. And the thing is I didn't agree with the fear-mongering of religion. And I have notes here so I don't get off track. I didn't agree with the fear-mongering. I believe that with spirituality, if you are religious, that's fantastic. I've met a ton of religious people that I absolutely, resonate with 100% on the whole spirituality aspect. But if we're congregating in a fear-based way, I don't agree with that. If you're congregating in love and compassion, acceptance and kindness, which is what all religions and all philosophies talk about, then yes, absolutely, because you need that connection. I totally believe in that. So my belief is God is within inside of all of us. We are all celestial beings, and I believe that I have a lot of words, by the way, for this. So God, source, spirit, that kind of thing, whatever you want to call it, creator, okay? But I believe it is that creational energy is in the world around us. It is the earth. It is the universe. It is us. So that life force is connecting all of us. No matter what anyone's religious aspect is, your stance on religion, that life force is connecting all of us. And that is the beautiful part, because knowing that you are a part of the bird, the trees, the stars, the sky, the wind, the sun, the moon, that person next to you, you're all connected, especially through it's energy. I mean, you can't battle that. You can't battle the science behind energy. So we all have this innate feeling, and I think that that's way more powerful, that compassion and love, and knowing that what you're doing is affecting this, and knowing that you're part of this whole star system is much more powerful than saying there's a good and a bad, and you live in a existence of duality, and you have to remain in that duality and do things really good so you'll go to a certain spot that only you can go to, and then all the other people who aren't doing what you're doing, well, so sorry. That doesn't feel good even saying it. Like, that sounds awful. So the thing is this separation and this fear makes you not be yourself. What is this whole thing that we've been learning is that we have to be authentic. We have to accept ourselves as we are. We have to remove our masks, because living in a society that is built upon putting on your happy face causes us to have depression and suicide. We're angry, we're hurting people, we have like low vibrations, we're unhappy, and that's because we're scared of being who we are. We're scared of being messy. We're scared of being human beings. If we were supposed to be perfect, then we wouldn't be on a planet. Yes, there is duality here, and we wouldn't be here in a human body in this meat suit with our soul if we were supposed to be perfect. If we were meant to be perfect, our soul would just go back into the universe and be like, I'm energy and I can be anything in the world. I am creation, because that's perfection. Love and compassion, that's perfection. But the thing is we're meant to have this experience for a reason. We're meant to learn from it. We're meant to lead our lives in love and compassion, reverence and respect and value. But unless we have these experiences of, hey, I made a mistake, let's do something better next time, then you won't know that. And that's the whole perfect part about being a human being. So connecting to your higher power means you're connecting to yourself. You're connecting to the world around you. You're connecting to your neighbor. And that is where consciousness comes in. Universal consciousness, the humanity comes in. That's where it comes in. Because if you're realizing that what you're saying, doing, thinking, believing is affecting not only you, then it's affecting everything else around you, then think about how powerful that is to understand that, you're taking responsibility for yourself, okay? And you're wanting to lead a life out of this really loving, good, higher energy place. But what's even better is you can do that by being your unique self. You can do that being messy. You can do that. And that's okay. It's all okay. All of it is. Being up here, being down here, it's great because it's this really nice wave. It's perfection. So there was a time for a while that I just disconnected because I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to be Buddhist? Do I want to be, Jewish? Those were the two options I gave myself. And I was like, no. And I was like, I don't know what it is, but whenever I'm outside, that spiritual moment, whenever I see the sun coming through the leaves and it's, that really nice golden hour, and I just feel this feeling and I feel it. Like, what is that? What is that? That's my religion. And I couldn't explain that to anybody because being like a teenager saying that to people, you're fucking crazy. And so I just spent my entire life being like, well, I don't believe in God. I don't have a religion. I don't know what to do. Well, that was awful and it didn't feel good. So whenever I started this yoga thing, this Kundalini, and then I started this beautiful like soul searching, and then I realized, I was like, oh my God, spirituality is everywhere. And going to Maui, Hawaii, and having a tour guide that was from there, Autumn, and not from there, but she's lived there for a while, like 2 years, like taking us to these places, my heart opened up. Like my connection to Gaia and source and the creator and being in the ocean, like I want to cry right now talking about this, but I won't. Just like, it's that feeling. And it's just, it's God, it's everything. And so like, you can't fake that. And you can't unfeel it. And so what I realized though, even after that, was that about 2.5 months ago, I realized that I wasn't connected to the creator. I never even talked to it. I didn't connect with it. And I found out through theta healing, whenever I was helping myself, my sister was helping me. She's a really good theta healer, by the way, Shelby Grimes. And so I realized like, I was not connected. I didn't feel worthy of it. I didn't feel love from the creator. I didn't feel love for myself. So the connection to the creator was the connection to the person in the mirror. And that connection is this whole energy in your reality. It's the connection to everything around you. So if you're not connected, and that's why I like to say inside of my life coaching sessions that we have to find at some point in this very slow, amazing foundational process, a connection to yourself, to some type of higher power, and that just opens the doors to the connection around you. And yes, it is gaining a lot of responsibility, but it's also having this foundation of faith that this love and compassion can just rest upon. Whenever we're feeling messy, when we're feeling like we're making mistakes, whenever we're feeling like shit, we can be like, that's okay. I have this. Creator's got my back. I've got this. My soul is here. Although I don't feel very good and I feel pretty upset right now and I made a mistake and this and that and that and the other, I have something to come back on. I have a good foundation because I have this. I have this. So I can do this. And it feels okay. Either way, I know I'm okay. And I know I'm okay not wearing a mask. And then you start attracting that around you. You start attracting tribes around you and people around you, and you just are this really nice, stable foundation for yourself. And you're unique in yourself. So, having said that, I think it's a balance to a really healthy lifestyle. And the thing is the Earth's pulse is that of our heart. Our heart is our biggest magnetic field in our body. Love, compassion comes from here. Okay, so it only makes sense that if the pulse of the earth is the pulse of your heart and love and compassion is where we want to be and what we strive for and the place where we come back to center, if we're not connected in any of these ways, then having that centeredness and compassion and all of those things that make us feel really whole just by being in the present moment, it just makes sense that it all has to connect. And if there's a disconnect, then there's going to be a disconnect somewhere else and we're going to feel it. Okay. So I believe that finding spirituality was the best thing I ever did. Discovering for myself and working through it on my own. And now I just feel it. And I think that it's important for everybody to have some type of spirituality, even if it's from religion. If you have a spirituality like what I'm talking about, then that's the most amazing thing. That's healing. It's just healing because it just is. And I don't know how to explain it unless you understand it, what I'm already talking about, or unless you go and discover it. Okay. But anyway, there it is. Okay, bye. Oh, yeah. My life is funded by people who schedule with me. So I am a life coach and a relationship coach, getting more trauma informed every time, but I'm more over some courses I'm going to be taking. But right now I'm already trauma informed. So let's set you up if you'd like some of my services. My website is www.kpholisticselfhealing.com.